Hi everyone, welcome to a new video in Grammar for Everybody. Today we will continue talking about questions, but in this opportunity we will be talking about tag questions. So let's start. A tag question is a special construction in English. It is a statement followed by a mini question, and we use tag questions to ask for a confirmation because they mean something like, is that right? Or, do you agree? They are very common in English. So, let's see. Here we have the basic structure of a tag question. We can have a positive statement with a negative tag, or we can have a negative statement with a positive tag. But let's see the first case. We have snow's white, isn't it? Here we have a tag question. We have two parts in this tag question: the statement snow's white and the tag, isn't it? So I want you to look at the statement snow's white. In the statement we have a subject, a verb, that is the verb be, and a complement. And in the tag we have the auxiliary be because it refers to the verb we use in the statement. So we use the auxiliary be in the contracted form, isn't it? And then we use the pronoun equivalent to the subject in the statement. As we are talking about snow, we are going to use it. If we're talking about a girl, we are going to use she. Or if we were talking about a boy, we are going to use he. So this is the basic structure for a tag question with the positive statement and the negative tag. So let's see now when we can have a negative statement with a positive tag. In this case, we can have something like this: you don't love me, do you? In here, we have the statement you don't love me and the tag do you? You can notice that in this statement we have the subject, the auxiliary in the negative form, the main verb, and the complement. So in the tag we will have the same auxiliary but in the positive form because we have it in the negative form in the statement. So we have it in the positive form, and then we use the pronoun referring to the subject of the statement. In this case it is you. So we write it again, you. And as they are questions, we always use question marks at the end of the question. But if you still have problems understanding these structures, let's see more examples. So here we have 4 examples of tag questions with positive statements and negative tags. The first one: Andrea is from Colombia, isn't she? In this case, the statement is Andrea is from Colombia and the tag is isn't she? So in this statement we have the subject Andrea, the verb is, and from Colombia the complement. So we are using the verb be in the affirmative form. And this is also the main verb. So it means that we will have as the auxiliary the verb be, but in the negative form, because one must be positive and the other one must be negative. So we have isn't, and then we use the pronoun equivalent to the subject. In this case we're talking about a girl, so we're going to use she. And that is the result we get. Andrea is from Colombia, isn't she? And in the next one, it is raining, isn't it? In here we have the statement it is raining and the tag isn't it. In this case we have the verb be is in the positive form, so we are going to repeat it in the tag, but in the negative form, isn't. And then we use a pronoun equivalent to the subject in the statement, that is, it. And in the third one we have, they are your parents, aren't they? In here we have the statement, they are your parents, and the tag, aren't they? In the statement we have the verb be in the positive form, so we are going to repeat it in the negative form. We get aren't, and we use a pronoun equivalent to the subject, that is the same, right? They. So the result is, they are your parents, aren't they? And in the last one we have, you like coffee, don't you? In this case, the statement is, you like coffee, and the tag, don't you? But in this case, we are not using the verb be anymore. We are using another verb in the simple present, like. So it means that we are going to use the auxiliary do. Why? First, because we have a simple present verb. And with this type of verbs, we use the auxiliary do or does. And also because we're talking about a second person pronoun, you. So we get don't. Because as I said before, if the statement has the verb in the positive form, the tag will have the auxiliary in the negative form. And finally, we use the pronoun equivalent to the subject, that in this case, it's the same, you. So the result is, you like coffee, don't you? And of course, as I said before, we don't forget to write a question mark at the end of every question, okay? And finally, we have some examples of tag questions with negative statements and positive tags. The first one, Andrea isn't from Colombia, is she? In this case, the tag is, Andrea isn't from Colombia. We have the verb be in the negative form as a main verb. So it means that we will use the verb be in the tag, but in the positive form. So we get is, and then we have the pronoun equivalent, that in this case is she. So the result is, Andrea isn't from Colombia, is she? And then in the next example, it is not raining, is it? In here, we have the verb be in the negative form. So in the tag, we will have it in the positive form. And then the pronoun equivalent. So the result, it is not raining, is it? And in the third one, we have, they aren't your parents, are they? The statement is, they aren't your parents. We have the verb be in the negative form. So in the tag, we are going to have it in the positive form, are. And then we have the pronoun equivalent, that in this case, it is the same, they. So the result, they aren't your parents, are they? And in the last one, we have, you don't like coffee, do you? In this case, we have the statement, you don't like coffee, and the tag, do you? But in here, we have the auxiliary don't in the statement because it is a negative statement. So it means that the auxiliary in the tag will be in the positive form, that is, do. And then we use the pronoun equivalent, that is the same, right? You. And don't forget to write a question mark at the end of every question. And finally, let's talk about two aspects of tag questions. The first one, we can use tag questions with all the tenses and with all the forms. And the second one is that in negative tags, we always use the contracted form. So here we finish talking about tag questions. So people, here we finish with this video, and I hope that this video can help you a lot and that you can take the more advantage as possible. Remember that you can get a free practice on the link in the description. And if you want to continue learning about the English grammar, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.